Good afternoon. Welcome to the Global Research video program entitled Debate and Analysis. Today, I wish to focus on a very important issue, which is censorship. But it is a specific form of censorship. It's the censorship applied to American medical doctors. And it is the object of the most despicable reports, particularly by CNN. On Monday, a group of medical professionals gave a press conference in front of the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. They raised a number of important issues concerning the treatment of COVID-19, including the treatment with what is called hydroxychloroquine, or HCQ, which is an effective and cheap medicine. But what is happening today is that doctors who prescribe the HCQ, some of them are losing their medical licenses. The state is threatening them, and they're not allowed to give prescriptions. Now, this group of doctors started a debate. They were invited. There was a member of Congress who was present, and they expressed their viewpoint concerning COVID-19. They expressed their analysis on the treatment, and the issue of hydroxychloroquine was raised in the process. Bear in mind that the medical doctors are fully aware, and they use spider web of fear, that people are afraid to learn the truth, or at least the spider web of fear is actually a media campaign, a political campaign to intimidate people into believing certain things about COVID-19 and its treatment. Now, what is despicable, and we might describe it as dirty journalism or fake journalism, smearing the doctors who are there, and then saying, no, HCQ is a dangerous drug, okay? Now, categorically, they say HCQ is a dangerous drug, and that appears, of course, in CNN. Now, who is behind that? Well, I can tell you who is behind it. It's Anthony Fauci, who's an advisor to President Trump, even though he and Trump have disagreements on the policies pertaining to COVID-19. Now, let me say something else, because this is very important. The HCQ drug has been the object of a smear campaign. But not only that, it has been the object within the Lancet peer-reviewed journal, prestigious British medical journal, of an analysis. It was directed by a professor from Harvard University, and it used fake data. Thousands of fake data in different countries were inserted into this simulation, coming up with a conclusion that HCQ is a threat to people's health. It was subsequently revealed, that was on May 22nd. In early June, it was revealed by medical doctors and specialists that the study conducted under the auspices of, by this professor of Harvard University, Harvard Medical School, that this was fake. It was based on fake data, and it was withdrawn. It was retracted. Okay, this is rather an unusual procedure for a peer-reviewed journal like The Lancet. And then it became known as the Lancet Gate. Now, the problem is HCQ was never proven to be a threat to patients. In fact, what Anthony Fauci never mentions is that it was approved by the CDC more than 15 years ago, and it was the object of a study by the CDC. We have this all on record. And Fauci goes around saying, no, we don't have a treatment for COVID-19. We have to develop a treatment. That's a lie. I'm sorry, that's misinformation. But there's something far more serious. When the HCQ report in the Lancet was published, its author apologized. And he said, essentially, what he said is the following. I'll read it to you. It is now clear to me that in my hope to contribute to research during a time of great need, I did not do enough to ensure that the data source was appropriate for this use. For that, all the disruptions, both directly and indirectly, I am truly sorry. Truly sorry. But truly sorry is the tip of the iceberg. Because while the May 22 article in the Lancet was published, and then a week later, it was categorized as fake science, governments around the world took the initiative of blocking HCQ. And Fauci then had his own study, which was published in the New England Journal of Health on a drug called remdesivir, which is developed by Gilead Sciences Incorporated. Now, just so that you remember, that particular company, at one time, the CEO was Donald Rumsfeld before he actually became Secretary of Defense in the Bush administration. But essentially, what has happened is that Fauci sponsored a report, an evaluation on behalf of Gilead Sciences, Inc., remdesivir, and it was called a preliminary report. And then in early June, he actually gave the green light to Gilead Sciences, Inc. in a $1.6 billion contract with Gilead Sciences Incorporated to distribute something of the order of 500,000 doses of remdesivir to clinics in the United States. And then there was another contract in Europe under a different brand name. But essentially, this blocking of HCQ quite deliberately by Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is advisor to President Trump, is, to put it mildly, conflict of interest. In other words, you can't, on the one hand, block a medicine which is cheap and is effective and which has been approved by the CDC years back, and then go ahead and give the green light to Gilead Sciences, Inc. to sell a drug which incidentally will cost patients $3,200, okay? $3,200 per patient. So that is the underlying truth, and what the media has done is pretty despicable, because they've never acknowledged the fact that the Lancet report was retracted and that it was fake. It was based on fake data, and then they go ahead and they accuse American medical doctors of presenting fake science and fake medicine, and they actually even question their credentials. And then, of course, YouTube takes the video off. I put the video up last night, and then later in the evening it was off, and then again another video. In other words, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube have taken down the video, and then the corporate media has gone into overdrive, not only to deny the treatment of HCQ, but to smear the doctors. They didn't even take the trouble to do an interview with these doctors. So that is what's happening in America. And it is absolutely essential. Let's support those doctors, spread the word, and we will consult the reports in Global Research. We've published numerous reports. We've also questioned the legitimacy of the estimates. And mind you, there's reason to question the legitimacy of the estimates, because in some countries, say Italy, they found that out of 25,000 cases of COVID-19, 96.4% are due, I'm talking about mortalities, are due to other causes, other illnesses. In Britain, they do the standard test, in the throat and so on, and they take it in your nose and your throat. They're two samples, and then what do? They multiply it by 2, which means that it's 2 people instead of 1. And then what happens? The data for Britain are significantly higher for the rest of Western Europe. These are only some of the falsifications underlying this COVID-19, and what American doctors, thousands of American doctors, are attempting to do is to reassure the public that this can be treated effectively and cheaply, and it in the form of preventive medicine and curative medicine, and that people in high office, including Fauci himself, is spreading media disinformation. Best wishes and greetings.
Center for Research on Globalization depends on your support. To make a donation or purchase a book or DVD, please visit globalresearch.ca and click Donate on the menu bar.